microphone is working. My cardio for the day is over. Today was just a cardio only day. So I felt pretty good this morning. So I did an hour. And then I just finished with 35 minutes tonight. So hour 35 total. Still a rest day though, because no actual lift and pump. But yeah, so I made a little bit of a post a couple hours ago. So I scanned through. We got a couple of decent questions in here. Mostly gym related, some unrelated. But let's start off with Joshy P26. Favorite YouTubers that aren't gym influencers? Let me think. I don't know. The first thing that's coming to mind is Mad Men, which I've been watching through YouTube. Obviously, that's not a YouTuber. But yeah, I think I've been on this kick of watching a bunch of different watch videos. A bunch of Teddy Baldessar, a bunch of Tim Masso, a bunch of Vukum, a bunch of stuff like that. Just the whole world of it all running around. It's just freaking fun. That's kind of been my kick for just sitting on my phone scrolling for the last couple of weeks. Louis Bello-P9I. How do you deal with stretch marks from bulking? What really bothers me about them is seeing guys that get none. Meanwhile, I've got them everywhere. I'd say don't stress. I'd say don't worry about it. Because also they're just going to fade over time. I mean, it might depend on your skin pigmentation. But I've had very visible, across the shoulder stretch marks where when they were fresh, they're kind of new and pink. But after a little bit of time, they kind of just, fade out. I don't even really see the ones that I have anymore. So I'd say just try not to worry about it too much. You're probably all right. Leo Ibarra 777. What's going to be your first meal after your show? Best of luck. Can't wait to see you compete. Thank you for that. But I'm not I'm not. It's not like it's strict up till showtime and then I can eat whatever, because Thursday night I'm going to have so much different carbs and sweets and everything. That'll kind of be my fill. My post-show meal will probably just be something basic, a bunch of a big steak or some tuna or something. I'm going to try to lean heavier on just the carbs and protein side of things and not eat anything super crazy fatty, just because it'll make me feel kind of gross. But I'd say probably a steak. Probably a steak is going to be the first real meal post-show. Either that or a bunch of sashimi. That would be good. Paintball Junkie 65. During prep, hunger is not the issue for me. Energy is my biggest struggle. How do you manage fatigue? And does your intake of stimulants, energy drink, pre-workout, etc., increase during prep? It most certainly does. It most certainly freaking does. I've got I've kind of had a little bit of a combo in terms of upping my caffeine, because now I'm not doing just a regular workout where I would, have pre-workout involved. I'm doing my regular lift, a second session of cardio, or I guess just, a post-workout cardio session, and then another second session later in the day. So before each of those, I'm kind of gonna, throw some caffeine in the mix. So before the workout, just a regular scoop of protein, or what am I saying, scoop of pre-workout. Usually not too crazy. I don't get much more out of 500 milligrams of caffeine than 200 just for the lift, because these lifts are a little bit more chill right now anyway. They're not super crazy heavy or anything. But for the cardio, I've got at my gym, I've got a whole bunch of 3D energy cans of just every flavor sitting on my picnic table. And when I'm done with my lift, and I either head home to do cardio in the basement or stop at one of the public gyms around here just because I like doing cardio with people around, I'm grabbing one of those. So I'm having a post-workout pre-cardio caffeine dose, and then pre-cardio for the second session I'll do the same thing, just about 200 milligrams or so. I've got a little Nespresso instant coffee sort of thing. So what I've been doing is some of the I think it's, if it's not s'mores flavor, then it's cookies and cream, but I'm pretty sure it's the raw bum isolate cookies and cream flavor. So what I've been doing is half a scoop of that into the mug, and then adding just 1 unit of coffee and then a bunch of liquid sweetener, just so it doesn't have the extra carbs. So it's kind of, I mean, really, it's not like there's anything special about having that protein in protein shake form, but it does kind of make it a little bit more of like a creamier kind of coffee. So that's kind of been like my caffeine treat of choice. But yeah, I definitely up my stimulant intake. And apart from that, I mean, yeah, it kind of, you just get a little more tired, but I'd say just try to get in the zone when you need to be, and then get completely out of the zone when you don't need to be. So when you walk into the gym, even if you're feeling a little bit, you're dragging your feet, whatever, just try to get a TikTok edit going that gets you amped. Pick a song, just like tell yourself, like, all right, come on, let's just get freaking real here. I'm already in the gym. But when you're at home and like it's actually time to go to bed, or you just got like an hour where you can, okay, maybe I'll take a nap right now or something, totally turn it off and just completely try to rest. So it's like you're either on or you're off. That's what I've been trying to do. And I think it's been working. Ian Wagner 475, has there ever been a point in your career where you've thought about quitting, and if so, when? And what got you through it? So define career, like I there hasn't been a moment where I post all these videos where I thought, I don't want to post these anymore. But if we're just talking like the gym in general, like starting off, sophomore high school to now, no, not really. And that's where I think I'm just super spoiled, because I mean, I just like to lift. Everything about it is very appealing to me. Just like walking around, knowing I'm pretty strong, just the coming into the gym and training, and just like not the gutturalness, but like just the animalistic is a little bit of a stretch, but just like the brute forceness of coming in, getting a lift, throwing some shit around, the feeling, just like being pumped, seeing yourself bigger, and whatever other kind of like dopaminergic response that I get from training, like I just shit, man, I don't know, it just clicks. Like it's never felt like a chore to get a pump from day one to now. And I hope it never does, because things are going rather well. And I'd hate for, to like lose that passion. But I couldn't even imagine what it would feel like to do that. So, let's just freaking knock on wood and hope, we get smooth sailing going forward. Aiden Goes Ham 3970. Are there any mistakes you've made or changes that you would make for the next competition? I guess if there are, we're going to find out, because I'm doing the Arnold in Columbus on Friday, so that's on the 6th. And then there's the Arnold UK 3 weeks later, over across the pond. So if there's something I have to change between this show and the next show, maybe a posing thing, maybe, I don't even know, well, then I'll make the adjustment, I'll be good. So I can't tell you what mistakes I'm going to make, but if I do, I'll try to adjust. Locked in. How to get excited to do legs. I'm excited to go to the gym for any upper body part, but I just have no drive to train legs like I do with my upper body. I still train legs, by the way. Now that is an important distinction. A lot of people who feel like that just say screw it, and then they work out with pants on and they're good. They don't even worry about it. What gets me going, especially, well, I don't know. I mean, I've kind of got a very distinct two states of training legs. One, right now when I'm dieting and all I need to do is maintain them as I get leaner, my leg training intensity out of every body part drops way down. Like I can maintain my legs with just leg extensions, hamstring curls, like light RDLs, stuff like that, very well. Like in 3 months when I start eating food again, my squat and my overall like quads, it's all going to be exactly where it was before, even though I haven't been squatting super heavy or really squatting at all for like the last 6 months. So I'm either kind of like having maintenance leg training, which is just still cool because I get a pump, actually really I get a quad pump, I get to enjoy training them, or I'm in an off season and I'm trying to completely thrash them to bits, and I'm really kind of killing it, and I'm trying to get stronger, and I'm throwing a lot of weight around. I'm doing like 5-plate squats or like Smith squats and leg press and whatever else, and like the intensity of the workouts is what gets me going. Like, all right, I want to go harder than I ever have before is like the goal, But if you might just need to somehow find something about legs that gets you excited. Look up watch somebody train legs who you like. Watch some Tom Platz videos. Watch some Clarence Kennedy squatting. Like stuff like that. That gets me going, and that makes me want to train legs even harder. Like seeing somebody else go ham, and then I get to say, all right, yeah, I'm going to see what I can do. Something like that. But beyond that, partially you just kind of have to figure it out. Alcohol 6289. No question, just an update on my body transformation. You commented on it in a fall 2024 Q&A. Inspired by your dedication, I dieted from 225 to 135 between 2023 and 2025. Trained for and ran an ultra marathon, and now I'm on my first bulk up 20 pounds, lifting hard. A few more months and I'll be ready to cut. Thanks for just doing your thing. Seeing someone happy to put in the work has been a big help. That is fucking badass. And you know what the craziest part is? That's over a few year time span. This isn't like, oh, I locked in for 3 weeks. Like, this guy fucking made that shit happen. That's actually making me pretty freaking excited. And 225 to 135, I wish YouTube could let you comment photos too to see like a before and after, because that's pretty freaking substantial. And then an ultra marathon. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. I'm having enough trouble as it is just doing my, hour and a half or like 2 hours of cardio in a day. I can't even imagine a freaking ultra marathon. But you're already up 20 pounds in a bulk. Shit, man, keep going. I can guarantee that that's not 20 pounds of fat either. You're actually getting some size. Yeah, YouTube's got to add freaking photos to these comments, that's for sure. Roblox Boy 12112. What's the best advice you have for new lifters that you think they typically miss? So this is a phrase that's been kind of thrown around, and it's it's called analysis paralysis. The idea that like, okay, I need my routine to be so perfect. If I can't make it perfect, I don't even want to do it at all. Screw it. Like just getting caught in this like ideological, like, okay, am I training right? Like, dude, are you training right by whose standards? There's no rules. So I'd say don't even fucking worry about like, are you doing the most, like just do a basic ass split and go from there. Push pull legs, Arnold split, legs, chest and back, arms, 7 or 8 sets per body part, pick 3 different movements. It really doesn't have to be more complicated than that. And the more you do it, the more experience you get, and then the more you'll kind of be able to say like, okay, I know how this feels, and I know that it's been giving me this results, and you can kind of just start to adjust accordingly. Like you don't have to play by the book in the sense that like, oh, I have to do exactly what everyone else is doing. Like, nah, don't even worry about it. The guy who trains consistently, actually that's it, the guy who trains consistently is the guy who makes progress. So just focus on that consistency side. And if you're putting effort into the gym and like you're trying to improve, and as you're doing your sets, you're like thinking about your form, you're not just doing them mindlessly, you're going to get better at it over time. You're going to improve your effort. You're going to start to get a little bit more like specific with how hard you want to train, and things will just kind of snowball forward from there. So don't you can start a forest fire with one match, right? Just start small and keep going. That keep going part is the most important. Jacob Casino 6983, tips for someone who's needed to cut down due to being overweight, but is now worried about bulking because of being overweight all their life. That's where I might say maybe have a designated dieter, instead of a designated driver. Have somebody, just kind of be a little third person perspective, like not checking in on you like a coach, but just kind of telling you like, you're good, man. No, you're not that heavy. Because, you can get this kind of self-perception where you're looking at yourself in the mirror. We're all looking at edited photos of people on Instagram. It's pretty rough out there for sure. It's not like body dysmorphia just came out of nowhere, right? But if you're kind of concerned with putting on some body fat, well, just have somebody else kind of keep an eye on you and like listen to them if they really say like, dude, you're getting a little soft, man. You've been bulking a little too hard. But don't be so afraid to put some size on that you never make any progress either. So somewhere in the middle You don't have to overdo it and go straight into like a perma bulk 2 gallons of chocolate milk a day. Like, eat enough that you're growing, but not so much that you're just storing pounds of body fat instantly, right? Because that'd just be a waste of time and energy. Top 5 rice cake flavors, Jazzed Cat asks. Now that's a really good ass question. I'd say number 1 in like, ooh, I don't know, these, because they're sweet and then they're savory. So maybe I'll do a top 3 of each. Top 3 sweet is going to be, and let's just stick with the Quaker's rice cakes, like the classic ones. The chocolate rice cakes are insane. The caramel rice cakes are good, not as good as chocolate. And then the apple, if it's like apple pie or just straight apple rice cakes are really good. So those are kind of the top 3 sweet rice cakes. And then in terms of the savory side of things, white cheddar, easily a front runner, followed by tomato basil, something I don't see as much but is still really good. And then you might just have to finish with lightly salted, I mean, basic, but it's a basic for a reason. That is a really good question, though. Noah Blair, 8076. What do you see yourself pursuing when your bodybuilding career is over? Coaching? Using your education? Going off grid? I don't know. That's too far in the future to even think about. I'm thinking days. I'm not even thinking days in the future. I'm thinking hours. I'm thinking I got to go home, eat my little post-workout meal, and then just go to sleep without getting into the fridge. Anything beyond a few months ahead, we'll just have to freaking see what happens. That's like off in the distance over the horizon. I got enough going on currently. I don't know if I can think that far. Trevi Green, after your show, what's next? Bulk coming anytime soon? I would say so. I would say freaking so. But not such a crazy bulk. I'm going to kind of ease into it this year. So after these shows, I'm not just going to go totally crazy like last year and just instantly start scarfing food and packing size on. I'll be a little bit more gradual. I want to stay leaner for longer, but kind of just have a, more gradual refeed instead of just a, nasty kitchen sink refeed like I had after my last show. Adam Miller 191, what was your favorite college class that wasn't in your major and why? So I've said this before, but I took this one class. It was called Mafia Cinema History. So it was kind of like just this one theater elective or some kind of elective. But the gist was going back all the way from like audioless gangster style movies up to like The Godfather, up to the Goodfellas and things like that. And the way that it kind of ties in with us right now currently is I was in this one group where we had to essentially like take clips from a movie, and like highlight like, okay, this 10-second scene and this 15-second scene, and overlay those clips with like an audio of somebody in the project narrating just like this analyzation of the movie or something. There's like a real prompt. So that was the first video that I ever edited on CapCut, where I'm like cutting clips and overlaying my audio and things like that. So that was my first time ever editing a video like that, which very soon after led to the first like legit YouTube videos, which I started making just in the gym and everything, and then here we freaking are. So not to mention, it was just kind of a cool class. The guy was pretty chill. Count me out. Can you tell my buddy Rick to do his cardio? Shit, man, I think I already did, Mr. Rickster. I tell you something, if you're not either pedaling currently or you have it on the horizon or somehow playing throughout the day today, I don't know what to tell you, but that's an unfortunate state of being. Because the fact that he's saying you should do it means you probably should, and if you're not, well, it's like, yeesh, freaking slacker, I assume. But we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Odds are you're probably a consistent cardio enjoyer, and maybe you just had a couple of bad days. Get back on the train, you're good. Zapier Degree 4129. how to get past injuries that don't seem to heal or are insufficient but stop you from training hard. That's a tricky one, you know. I've certainly been there. There was a question a while ago, as I'm scanning through, that I didn't screenshot, but it was a good question. It was essentially just like a breakdown of all my injuries, and I've had a couple. You know, I've had my knees have had some shit, and I like pulled my hamstring. I've had intramuscular pec tears on both sides. I've had like bicep tweaks, and I had a really crunchy rotator cuff for a while. Like it's just top to bottom. I've had random stuff. And the lesson that I've learned from all of them, from, you know, back when I was a little less experienced to now, is, all right, shit, I got a blinking red light and an alarm going off on my rotator cuff. Cut that crap out. Anything that's hurting it, anything that's like bothering it, oh, I shouldn't press heavy because it's hurting my shoulder. Do not do it. Just completely back it off. Because the more you mess with it, the more it's going to stay injured. It's not going to heal right. And then now, instead of like, yeah, I had to back off on bench for a few months, it's, yeah, I can't bench anymore, period. You know, and I understand the logic of thinking like, I just want to push through it. It's fine. I can do it. It's just pain. It just hurts. You know, it's kind of like this sort of tough guy mentality. And I know a guy from college where I always saw him, and he's always complaining about his rotator cuff, and he's saying, "Yeah, benching really hurts my freaking shoulder. I don't know what's going on." And then I'm watching him load weight to bench, you know, and it was uncanny. Every time he ever was doing chest, he's complaining about his shoulder. Like, you don't think there's a little bit of a correlation there, you know? So if you got something, you got to really back it off. Just totally chill out on it. Let it heal, let it kind of recover, and then ease into it. You know, don't get caught thinking, oh, yeah, I'm back to 80%. And then try to give it 100% on something, and then you hurt it again. You know, if you get a random injury, you know, shame on nobody. It shit just happens. But if you hurt yourself again, and you knew you had an injury, or you knew you had a tweak, and then you still did something which compromised you later, well, that's shame on you, man. You know, there's no excuse. That's just foolishness. So I'm trying to build up my streak of non-injury. In an ideal world, I will never get hurt again. And that's a pretty substantial goal that I have now. Prince PF4LI, have you ever had to deal with imposter syndrome while training for a show? And if so, how did you deal with it and push on with your journey? I guess I don't know the exact definition of imposter syndrome, but if you're thinking like, I don't know, just like how my mentality is going into it, I don't know. I don't notice it get too bad or anything. Like I can, right now I actually feel kind of a little bit of not a relief, but I feel like I'm in the home stretch feeling, you know, because it's only a few days out from the show, you know, 5 days, 4 days, whatever. So, you know, assuming I don't blow it, and I mean, like for me to really blow it, like if I could do it, you know, like over these next few days, I could eat 8,000 calories a day and completely trash my prep. Like it could be done. So it's not like it's unfumbleable, but you know, I'm where I am. You know, I did all my cardio, I did all my dieting. I can maybe get a touch leaner over these next few days. Not a lot. So it's almost out of my hands now. You know, it's like what's done is done. Let's just see what happens and get to enjoy the process of doing so. So whether that's a good way to think about it or a bad way, it seems all right for me. I don't know. Lundy876, thoughts on the effect of highly processed foods and chemicals on the gut microbiome. Yeah, I mean, I would certainly agree that's probably, we're gonna have to make sure I'm still recording. I get nervous because I keep leaving the microphone off. But no, I think you can definitely throw your stuff off. Like right now, I think I've got a pretty good gut biome. Eating very clean, you know, just rice cakes, ground beef, canned tuna. Even like I don't understand what you guys, not you, but just when people say like the canned chicken is processed. Nobody hates on canned tuna. Like, what do you think happens from chicken to tuna to put it into a can and get it cooked? Like, it's, you know. But I think the cleaner you eat, you'll definitely sort of just feel in a baseline, like, steadier. You know, my blood sugar's not going all over the place because I'm eating a bunch of food. Now, in an off season, I'm going to get a little bit more lax. I'm going to start really kind of grubbing and eat a bunch of more treats and things. But yeah, I'd say it's something to consider. You know, maybe try some like pre or postbiotic, like supplements or things like that. But I've never, even on my like nastiest bulks, I never really noticed any big issues or anything. You know, so maybe it's if you're super sensitive, then I guess you might run into an issue. But if you're training like really hard consistently and doing your cardio, you can eat some junk if you want, I think. You know, that's not a justification. I'm just saying, like, the power of a really good active routine is pretty good. You know, I mean, there's guys who are walking around peeled where they eat a McDonald's breakfast and drink 2 Mountain Dews every day, but they're still really active all day, you know. So it's, I'm not trying to say that's what you should do. It's just more of an observation, you know. Grizz KG, and this will be the last one because I got to get my freaking butt home. What is your go-to ab exercise? The question is really, what are your go-to ab exercises? But I really only have one, and that's going to be the kneeling cable crunch. So that's going to be where, you know, you're going up to the cable, be it, actually not even be it, really just like the only regular kind of cross body cable that there is. And, you know, maybe put the cable at like head height, shoulder height-ish or so. Maybe get a yoga mat or like fold up like your jacket or something, just so you're not putting your like knees straight on the gym floor. And then just grab the rope, kind of kneel down, and I mean, just look it up, man. Kneeling cable crunch. It works. And what I like about it the most is the fact that it's actually like loadable. You know, a lot of ab movements